Hello everyone, welcome back. Another episode of Bitcoin Trade here, and basically today's Monday, April 13th, and it's about 1 p.m. Central Time here, and here are the different prices right now, as you can see. Bitstamp, BitC, and Bitfin. Now, if you notice, Bitfin's kind of really low, or was low. It's kind of ranging up and down. But there's a lot of things going on. This is on a 12-hour, and so this is a pretty decently large move. And you see it's just moving here. And if you notice that things are flipping over here, so it looks like it's a push downwards, Hobu being kind of the highest right now. So it's really just pushing back up and down here. As you can see, the prices start going. It just started to occur as I was about to start this video. Anyways, we're in the mid 20s. It's gone down to the mid 2026. I did mention in my previous video that the 20s, somewhere in the 20s would be a range of low, and it looks like that's happening. And as you can see on this particular chart here, 12 period average on Bitfin, that it's following this 10 period average as a resistance, and it's really being pushed down. And so what I've started to do to take on some of these strategies is as I'm trading, I'm trying to keep my gains in Bitcoin, because as the price falls, it's easier to acquire Bitcoins as far as trading goes. You get more Bitcoin for your dollar when you make your gains in Bitcoin versus, how can I say this? You're getting more Bitcoin than if it was at higher price. And as you trade, you're easily getting more Bitcoin. So basically, $60 gets you a quarter of a Bitcoin for the most part. And so that's not too bad. Every trade that you do, if on a per Bitcoin basis or per trade basis, depending on how large your trade is, I mean, saving a quarter of a Bitcoin every trade, and you do 4 trades, you basically gain 1 Bitcoin. That's not a bad deal. Considering if you look at the low here and where it's going, which I did mention around 220, somewhere around there. If it goes down further, that's alright for me, because it's a matter of acquiring Bitcoin for me. So my strategy changes on an uptrend. I'm trying to gain in US dollars, which I did do here, and it crested out at this point right here. And as it went down, I saw an opportunity to gain in Bitcoin, and which I'm doing now. And it seems kind of simple to say, yeah, when the price goes lower, make your gain in Bitcoin. When the price goes higher, make your gain in US dollar. But it's kind of hard to do sometimes when when you're actually doing it. It seems like sometimes it's hard to do this, because if you're making your gains in Bitcoin, you probably want to cash out real quick, because the price is on a downtrend and you want to preserve that value. There's, I guess you can do that, but at some point, you've got to go back into Bitcoin. Question is, when are you going to do it? And if you're always waiting and waiting for that time, you may miss the boat on that. And so, I mean, depends how you trade. The way I trade, I always try to, I trade both in virtual and in reality. And so, how I make my gains is kind of unique to how I do things. But I just keep a strategy of prices going down, gain Bitcoins, prices going up. A couple things you can do. You can use a momentum trade, which is as the price is going up, you're riding that momentum on the uptrend, and you continually keep your gains in Bitcoin. Same thing going down. As the price is going down, you're keeping your gains in. You can ride the momentum going down and keeping your gains in US dollar. So you're basically shorting, and you're pushing that short, which is good. But at some point, that's gonna rebound. That's gonna spring back. For me, it's more important to, and you see the price is going down like 225, which that is one of my marks of a buy-in price, actually. So it's the buy-in price has hit. The next buying price is actually at 216, 215 area. That is the next buying price, actually. So those are different levels for me anyway in my calculations that I've done. So this tells me right now that at 225, that's probably a really good time to buy in or start keeping your gains in Bitcoin. For that's depending on your strategy, but for me, this is a really good price. It's a price that I expected to hit, and so if I expect it to hit, that's kind of, I'm going to stick with my strategy because it seems to be working. And so if it works for you, just keep doing it. That's all I can say. If it doesn't work, I mean, you may have to start changing things, but for me, this is good for me. I know it may seem bad. It also depends on how many Bitcoins you have. My whole point is to acquire as many Bitcoin or absorb many Bitcoin as I can at a lower price. And so, as long as the price goes down, it does work for me because eventually, the price goes back up as well. And so when it goes up, that's a different strategy I want to play. Momentum trading going up. In other words, I keep my gains in Bitcoin as it goes up all the time. Right now, I kind of been waiting to hit my price target. Now that it has hit my price target, I'm going to be trying to absorb as many Bitcoins as I can because I think this is optimal time. 220 to 210s, between those two ranges, for me, it's optimal time. If it goes lower, that's even better. That means like $60 will get me half a Bitcoin or something. I mean, it's going to be really easy to make your gains in Bitcoin, and if you play it out long enough and you're willing to wait, for the market to come back, and the market always comes back. It goes up, it goes down. I mean, it if you just look at what's happened here on this 12-hour, you see it's gone up, it's gone down, and if you made your gains at a certain point, or if you kept your gains, example, keeping your gains in here, and then doing a momentum, keeping your gains in Bitcoin while this is being pushed up, probably really worked out in your advantage. Topped out here. It kind of depends how you were trading it, but if you sold here or here, you probably did really well. And then if you're always trading, this down move wasn't a problem, and when it went back up, it wasn't much of a concern. You took advantage of how the price moved, and then based on how the price moved, you took advantage of how to trade after that. And for me, it's always been trying to my my plan was to keep my gains in Bitcoin, and I slowly been doing it, rebuying at a lower price, rebuying at a lower price, but always also trading too. Trading your Bitcoins, peer-to-peer exchange and everything, always taking advantage of price movements. So there's nothing wrong with that. Matter of fact, I would encourage everyone to do so. So after a few of these trades here in this range, I started to get some kind of formulation of a price target where I felt that it would be the optimal time, and actually there it is. It's hit that range and price target, which I think is an optimal time to couple things, buy some Bitcoins. Although it's going to be hard to get some Bitcoins because I'm sure a lot of people don't want to sell their Bitcoins at this low price. That's the other challenge. Even when the price goes down lower, unless you have money on these exchanges, you've been waiting, patiently waiting on a peer-to-peer level, it's really hard to get Bitcoins at these prices that you've been seeing here on these exchanges, because people don't want to sell it for that price. They know it's going to go back up. Matter of fact, they're looking for more Bitcoins. People who are trading peer-to-peer are looking for more Bitcoins. And so it's kind of weird how that works out on a peer-to-peer market level versus the exchange markets. But if you do have money on the exchanges, this range right here, I think is optimal. It would be something that I would definitely like to start trading more on, keeping Bitcoins in this price range here. Anywhere from the 1030 to 210, those ranges. I know it's a $20 range, but you just have to play with it. My personal price target was around 225, 220s. So and this gap has really gotten quite large here, and so for me it's optimal right here. It's good. You can't always pick the bottom, but you can pick a range of a bottom to make your trades. And so this has just recently happened during the day, happened in the afternoon too, Central Time, 1 o'clock. And so I was a little surprised because typically it's been in the mornings it would pick up, and then late in the afternoons it would sell off. But now we're seeing something else. I think we're seeing a panic sell-off here, which this looks like, that people aren't able to offload their Bitcoins in a way they would normally do, so they've dumped their Bitcoins onto the exchanges, hoping to preserve some of that and maybe perhaps buy in at a lower price to get more Bitcoins, and hopefully the market will go back up. I'm assuming that's what everyone's hoping for. I've kind of seen that. I think this last jab down here is, I wouldn't say it's the final jab, but I would say this is a price target that I was expecting. So after that, if we just look at the lines here, and I'll draw a line just on these two here that I've kind of been looking at here. 250, and for me it's always been about 250. 250 still in play. So if you look at if you follow this line from these 2 points, you'll see that the price did go up, but didn't quite hit, but it was a resistance in some way. Didn't quite hit up here, but then came back down, and this last candlestick here really pushing down further. We'll see how far it goes. After that, we'll see if it re-hits this trend line again at 250 or even a lower price area. But I think 250 is still a mental barrier. You know, anything above 250 or anything below 250, um, I always I always think this particular number is really in people's mind, the 250. Um, so we'll see what happens. Anyways, lower price, uh, better deal, more bitcoins, and you know, uh, if you employ this kind of strategy, it's hard to, because the payout isn't instant, isn't immediate, like some other strategies. The payout is a little bit longer term, where you will have to see the value of your bitcoins go down in value before it goes up, and or while you're trading, you're losing the value of your bitcoins. And remember, you got to have bitcoins too in order to do these type of trades, because you're also going to perform arbitrage. You're also going to be trading instantly. You'll be doing a lot of things. You do some butterfly trades, range trading, channel trading, but you got to have bitcoins in order to do that. But not only bitcoins, but also some money as well. Some money, or a way to acquire bitcoins with your money, through the exchange, or in person to person, in peer-to-peer market, street level market here. So you got to start really interacting and really start trading. It's going to get really, at these lower prices. I think you really got to get intricate in your trades on a both buy and sell. You got to, how can I say this? But you can't do this if you don't have any bitcoins at all. I mean, everyone has money, obviously. The question is, do you have any bitcoins? And so, without any bitcoins, you really can't take advantage of these downward prices. And that's what sucks about this strategy, is that if you have bitcoins, you'll see that the value of bitcoins have gone down. So you've lost some value, right? You unrealized losses, if that makes sense. Basically, you're losing value, but you haven't really realized those losses yet, because you're still holding on to them, right? And that's what kind of sucks about the strategy, is that you're seeing, that part of the trade that you've gained lose value. And so what would have been, like, maybe I'll just use $1,000 gain, now is an $800 gain, and then it's a $500 gain. You're like, going, man, this sucks. That's the drawback of it, and that's what freaks a lot of people out, and that's why you have to do a longer term time frame in order to do this. If you're able to do that, and you're able to realize, the gains that have gone down in value are nothing but gains. There really is no risk to it. That's money you already made. So whether you made $1,000, you made $800, you made it. It's gained. So you're really risking nothing. And if you realize that and you're able to understand that, a longer term time frame doesn't seem that crazy. And if you're able to realize that, right now you lost some value from 1,000 to 800, but the potential is from, 800 to back to 1,000, back to 2,000, back to 3,000. I mean, that's worth the risk for me, because again, these are all gains where you have really no risk. And so, with that being said, it's a type of strategy that you've already have done many trades, you've already acquired gains. You can't do this. I guess you can, but you can't do this starting off right off the bat, because essentially you don't have anything. And if you try to employ this kind of strategy at the beginning, unless you're willing to really risk your money, it's hard to do this. It's because you're really risking your original amount of money you put in, if you're a beginner. But if you've already been through all this and you already got some good gains here, Really, you're risking nothing, and this drastic down move you see, especially this downtrend here, that this recent one, it's not a really big deal. Matter of fact, if you're like me, when you see this, you're like really happy because now you're able to get Bitcoins at a lower price, and you're able to get a lot more, and it doesn't cost that much to get some Bitcoins, and keep your Bitcoins, keep your gains in Bitcoin, because there's very little. If it went cheaper, that'd be even better, because the next time it starts trending back up, and I'm talking about on a longer uptrend, the longer term trend, you'll be really happy that you did this, because it's gonna pay off a lot more, way more than on a short-term basis. So, anyways, that's my chart analysis. I'm looking at it. I kind of felt really it was on a downtrend, because mainly this, when I saw this and I saw it hit this, I think it's 20-24 period average, and it just took a drastic fall after that. That was one of the signs that this was not going to be the low. I saw this go up, but it barely crossed over, but as soon as it started coming down, I realized that it was, and plus all this time it was following this, it was below this 10 period average, that it probably was going to push one more time downward. Although this was kind of momentum was waning off, but on the RSI, and I'll just take a quick look here. And that's, the RSI is sometimes really deceptive to look at, because I'm sure most of you thought that it hit the 30 right here, that this was the low, but it's pretty deceptive, because it's not like a chart or a line that you could draw and say, hey, there hit the top, it's going to hit the bottom, or something like that. It's the intensity of the momentum of that direction in trade. And so the lower this is, even though it just barely moves down this much, the momentum, the price action really moves drastically. And so it's a little deceptive when you look at it, and I'm sure a lot of people have thought, hey, we hit the bottom, all right, because it hit the bottom here, and it's very close, and then this is going to go up, and what I saw was something a little different. I felt it was going to drop a little bit lower. I think 220s is pretty good. If it goes below that, or it may range a little bit and go into a triangle, but if it does go below that, you're probably looking at 216, 215 being the next downward price hit, but that remains to be seen. I have to see what happens here in this short-term period of time, whether something like that's going to happen. But I do have a calculation here of 215, 216, somewhere around there, of when the next price is going to hit down for another push downwards. If you're wondering what my upward price is, it's 270. So basically, for whatever reason that this thing decides to bounce back up and go back on an uptrend on some kind of leg, I have a price of 270 to hit. So basically it'll probably hit this and then push back up to 270. That's just my calculations. Whether it does or not, I don't know. I have to see what happens in the next few days to see if that happens, of course. So anyways, hopefully this helps. We'll see if this is a support area here, 220s, like I said. Other than that, it could be 215. But if it does reverse the other way, you're looking at a target price of 270, somewhere around there, to be the target price. And so we'll see what happens. Anyways, I guess I'll conclude this episode. Feel free to like, dislike, leave a comment, also do a video response. So next time, well, wait a minute. Let me talk something. Let's just take a look at the prices now. So you got, you got Bitstamp at 224. You got Bitsy at 222. Bitfin 223. Oh, at some point they're all 223. So when you see these prices, it's when they start leveling out really close. It's typically a price decline. When these things go out of whack. In other words, one's really higher than the other. Especially if Bitsy is really high, it's been a downturn. If Bitsy becomes the lowest, that's an upward pressure. So there's a price between all the different exchanges, just to give you an idea. So when they really come close together, that's another indication that well, it's already happened, but it kind of was happening. When it did happen, they were all starting to be even out, and then looks like it's really pushing downwards. Wow. Anyways, oh yeah, sorry about that. Feel free to like, dislike, leave a comment, even do a video response. Until next time, stay tuned. Bye.